Circle RPAC member, and I will be your MC for today's Broker Connect Talk Story session. On behalf of Hawaii Realtors, I want to welcome all principal brokers and brokers in charge to this exclusive virtual event. Today, we have a wonderful opportunity to connect directly with leadership at both the national and state levels. This is truly a talk story session, a chance to hear insights, ask questions, and engage in meaningful dialogue about the future of real estate here in Hawaii. We encourage you to stay engaged throughout the program. We'll have question and answer at the end. And without further ado, I'm honored to introduce today's guests. First, we are joined by our very own 2025 President of Hawaii Realtors, Lance Owens. Lance is the immediate past chair of the Hawaii Realtors Political Action Committee. Lance has been a dedicated leader at his local board, the West Hawaii Association of Realtors, where he earned the Lifetime Achievement Award, was named the 2023 Realtor of the Year, and served as president in 2018 and in 2022. He serves nationally as an NAR director and as a member of the NAR RPAC Participation Council. Please join me in welcoming Lance. And you can use your reaction emojis if you would like. That'd be great.
Thank you, Gina.
We also have here with us, I'm honored to introduce Otto Catrina, the National Association of Realtors 2025 Regional Vice President for Region 13, serving California, Guam, and Hawaii. At the national level, he serves as the Federal Political Coordinator for California Congressman Eric Swalwell of District 14 and as an NAR director. In addition to his service on several committees, Otto has also chaired NAR's Leadership Academy Advisory Board. He is a member of NAR's President's Circle and in 2016 was included in the RPAC Hall of Fame. At the state level, Otto has been deeply involved with the California Association of Realtors and served as its president in 2022. Please join me in welcoming Otto Catrina.
Aloha, everyone. Thank you very much, Gina. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm looking forward to having dialogue with our members and with Lance. You guys have been very fortunate over the past few years, especially this year, that Lance and I have been able to form a real collaborative relationship and create that communication of what's going on the island and relaying information back from NAR. So thank you again. Mahalo for all that you do. And I look forward to the next hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever amount of time that you guys want. Okay, we're here.
We're very excited. Before we get jumping in, I wanted to start our talk story with Lance, and he's going to give us a quick HAR update.
Thank you, Gina. Real quick, I think hopefully everybody reads their emails. I know how that goes. And I just want to touch on a couple of our wins this year with our advocacy here in the local state. So our biggest thing was SCR 123, and that's not a made-up number. One of our biggest wins was to create a working group in Hawaii to examine our outdated landlord-tenant code rules and regulations and stuff. And that's one of the biggest things that we have trouble with. And I know a lot of people may not really understand the importance overall of what that means by getting this working group together, because a lot of us just do sales. I don't do property management. In the early days, I wasn't too sure what that really meant, why that would be important to me. But it is important because every year, like this year alone, I think we had about 65 bills that were attacking property management. And it's because it's not working what's out there. It's been patched a lot. It's been several years. People have been, legislators over the years have just been adding this to that. We've got one part of the code might be 7 days, another part of it's 10 days, another part of it's 10 business days. And you can imagine if you're a mom and pop landlord, what that's like to try to navigate that. And the problem is when there's a bad landlord, whether it's a property manager or a mom and pop person, it's always blamed on the realtors, and that's where a lot of these laws and these bad laws come from, these bad bills. So, we spent, like I said, a big portion of this legislation fighting that. But the good news is that we went to them that we wanted to create a working group that examined this. It was overwhelmingly approved. They loved it. They just they got on board right away. And we weren't sure how that was going to go. So that kind of hit us by a surprise, and it really worked well. Shortly into the session, somebody actually wrote a bill for it and another resolution for it. And at the end, we got the resolution passed. It was best for everybody. So they're going to be taking a look at this, and there's going to be people in there. What we want the working group to include is mom and pop landlords. We want tenants in there to make sure that everybody understands their rights. We want to bring in some of the mediation groups, maybe some attorneys, a lot of people, and some of the legislators, so that we get a fair, rounded landlord-tenant code that works for everybody. And that's kind of the low-hanging fruit, I think, because if we can get that cleared up, it keeps a lot of our members, out of trouble. And it may open up more rentals, more long-term rentals. Because as it says, I know a lot of us are afraid to announce or to guide our clients towards long-term rentals because of the way that it sits right now, it's kind of skewed. So that's good news. And I got even better news on that. Just literally an hour ago, this came in, and we are officially on that working group. So that is literally
Congratulations. That's wonderful.
about 5 people that know about this. So that is very, very exciting. It's going to be Lindsay. She is our director of advocacy, and she is awesome with these people. So we have a seat at that table. So thank you. And the other 2 things, just jump on really quick, the property insurance reform. That wasn't our bill, but we were able to sit at the table and guide it through to make sure that how it was being funded and stuff wasn't being just put on the burden of certain homeowners. So we've made a big change in that. That was successful. So that I take that as a win. Condo transparency. This new law requires that your condo associations now have to give copies. I want to make sure I get this clear, so I want to read from this. But free of charge, they have to give you the governing documents and the updated amendments to that, to all, to the agent or to the homeowner. So that's good when you're pre-listing something, that's good. But don't confuse it, you still have to pay for the RR 105C and some of the other financial docs that they have to update constantly. So, but it's a great start, and it's good for our members. So I think that's good. That's my update.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lance. Otto will now be giving us an overview of advocacy, research, technology, and education at the regional and national levels. So take it away, Otto.
Great, Gina. Thank you very much. Again, I just want to give a shout out to Lance. Him and his team have been doing a phenomenal job with the association and just different challenges that we've been facing over the past year. Yesterday, we had the opportunity to meet. I think we were about 2 hours. We were very fortunate to meet with the insurance commissioner. I'd like to say that it's easy that it was that easy to access the insurance commissioner in California, which it was not. So I applaud Lance, you and your team for doing an outstanding job. Yesterday, I really learned a lot, and we'll be bringing back the information that we discussed yesterday, and hopefully we can make a little bit more footsteps towards solutions in rectifying the insurance crisis. The insurance crisis is not just limited to Hawaii. It's throughout the United States and some areas. As I'm from California, I'm from the Bay Area, and we've been having our challenges over the past years also with insurance and the high cost of premiums. But again, I want to say hello. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. I love coming to Hawaii. I look so much forward to this, and the people are you're gracious, you're warm. I thank you for just all that you do, and you're welcoming. With that said, I'm sure you'll agree with me. Over the past few years, we've had many, many challenges in our industry, our profession, and also at the state, the national level with the National Association of Realtors. We are in the season of transformation. Our industry is changing. Our members are changing. Our members are getting older. Our organization is changing, and I know there's been some questions about the association on how it's changing. I can reassure you, and I want you to take this to the bank. There is a new sheriff in town. Nakia Wright, our new CEO at the National Association of Realtors, is doing one hell of a job, and I applaud her. We have an immense amount of new talent at the national level with our staff. Some staff have been replaced with new staff. Our legal department is second to none now. I was talking to Kevin Brown, Kevin Brown is incoming president for the National Association of Realtors. Kevin is from my local association. I was talking to him a couple of days ago, and I said, "God, with all these new hires in our legal department, we could open up our own law firm." And he goes, "That's exactly what we're doing, is we're protecting it and protecting our membership in the industry." So I applaud NAR on making those major changes. A key part of the process has been listening to our members. I know over the years, NAR has been criticized for talking. This is the way things are going to be. It's a different market now. Excuse me, not a different market, but it's a different culture today. Today, the culture is listening to our members, listening to the brokers, especially the big brokers, and listening to what we can do to help them become successful. So our members today, I'd like to share how NAR has been listening and working in 4 areas. And what we'll do, Gina, if it's okay, I'll go top line, 30,000 feet on advocacy, research, technology. I want to share some technology, AI, and RPR, some things that we're doing with that, and then also facts.realtor, and broker.realtor, or excuse me,
Yes,
broker.
you got it right. You got it right. Facts.realtor,
Okay,
broker.realtor, and
I've got a ton of papers here, folks, and education, and these are all areas that are benefit. And I think Lance might talk about the 3-way agreement, but just talk on how that 3-legged stool, on how we work collaboratively together to help our members become successful. But more importantly, I want to take this opportunity to listen to you, and I'll be sure to leave time to take questions. At the end of this chat, the town hall that we're having with Lance, I'm going to put my email on the screen, and also my phone number. If there's a question that you have, you want to send me an email, good, bad, or whatever, hopefully they're good, or you have a question, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to get back to you. After I get done here in Hawaii, I leave Friday to head to Guam, and I'll spend about 5 days in Guam, then head back to the mainland. And so first off, as far as advocacy goes, as you know, we're one of the few organizations, associations that contribute to both parties, as opposed to various other industries that either lean to the Democrats or lean toward the Republicans. And that is what helped us be successful in one of the largest lobbying groups that exist out there. So we've got great relationships both with Democrats, we've got great relationships with Republicans. So
It's a 50-50 split, right?
About a 50-50 split. So when we do our RPAC contributions and we make our donations to our elected officials, we try to balance that 50-50 split on that. And we're looking for those elected officials that are realtor friendly. And yesterday was a great example of, you have the former Speaker of the House, who's now your insurance commissioner, sitting at the table with, yesterday we had Lindsay, we had Milo, we had Trevor, we had Cassandra here with us. I was impressed. I tell you what, I'm going back to NAR and say, you guys got it. You guys understand it. But there's a variety of advocacy. I think one of the ones that I'm real proud about, and I'm looking forward as this moves a little bit forward. It's been a challenge, or it's been taking time. It started when I was president of the California Association of Realtors, is my good friend, Congressman Jimmy Panetta, who the name sounds familiar. It's Leon Panetta's son. And Jimmy is down in Carmel, and Jimmy introduced a bipartisan bill. So both Democrats and Republicans for support. And as far as capital gains on owner-occupied homes. And the current is $250,000 for a single individual and 500 for married couple. And we are advocating, if Jimmy is in the bill, more homes on the market to increase that 250 to $500,000 and taking $500,000 up to $1 million. Again, these all sound great, but we have to make sure that there's pay for it, because when you give up one thing, that revenue has to come from another entity.
I was impressed, you know, when I was looking at that bill and what was happening, I had no idea that there was so much. That seemed kind of far out there. Like that's like, why are we worried about that person that's making $500,000 or even $1 million now, you know? And the numbers that NAR, they're amazing with all the numbers and data they provide. It was something like 30% of Americans hit that threshold of the 250 already for the single, and it was a little bit less for the $500,000 for the couple,
Yeah.
but I mean, that's amazing. It's a lot more important than we think.
Yeah, no, it is. And before, you know, people would say, oh, it's just in California or it's in New York, high cost states. Well, now with the cost of housing that's going up throughout the United States, it's starting to affect more. So the good news also is the current administration is also taking a look at that. And President Trump has been very vocal that he is even saying, why even have a tax on selling a house? Why should there be an equity penalty on that? Marjorie Green, a Republican, and she's also initiated. So there's a lot of talk now in Congress, back in DC, about eliminating or reducing or eliminating. So we'll see how that goes. Again, there has to be paid for. So that's the one that I'm real optimistic about. Another one, 1340. That would more homes on the market. So that was HR 1340. Another one is HR 2840 and Senate Bill 1299, which create a national strategy for boosting housing production and affordability by reducing barriers like zoning laws to new housing. I know you have it, Gene. I know in Maui, it challenged the build. I mean, back in the mainland, it's a challenge to get buildings, and we're trying to expedite to create more housing, revitalizing. I'm sorry, Gina?
I'm sorry. We had some good wins, state level on permitting. So nationally, and also you're bringing up some of the wins we've had. That tax bill included many wins for us as realtors and homeowners. So thank you for reviewing those.
Great.
Can I add something to that too?
Yeah.
Because you know what was interesting when I first saw that come up, I was kind of like, well, how's that going to help me here? Because our federal government isn't setting our local building standards. What's going on here, right? So I did some research on it, and I was amazed that there's some grants and stuff that come with that program for our local states and counties to participate in those, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's a big part of what they're doing that we may not see on the surface. There may be people out there questioning it, but it comes with benefits for counties and states.
And that's why it's important to have those relationships with your federal political coordinators, have those relationships with your state elected officials because of those grants, and also on the federal level too. The other one that I've utilized is that revitalizing the Downtown and Main Street Act, HR 2410, converting unused or unutilized commercial properties. And ever since COVID, we back in mainland, and we have a lot of downtown areas that are just vacant right now. And as we're staying not too far from the association here, and I see a lot of buildings that are vacated. I took a bowling alley, and I had a client of mine passed away, and the wife inherited, and it needed major renovations. And what she said, and I talked to her, I said, you know what, I think it's time to sell. And we ended up selling the building for almost $4 million. And DR Horton, who's a developer that I work with, ended up building 40 townhouses on a bowling alley site. Another project we did was 83 acres of farmland out in the Central Valley, out in the Bay Area, in the Central Valley, and permitting for 600 homes out there. So it's been good. First time buyers, letting them go into their SEPs, into their 401ks, and taking money out without any penalty, so they can go ahead and buy some homes. So and then the last one, go ahead.
Well, you know what impressed me about that so much too is when you look at, I know that I had some pushback when we met with our legislators in Washington DC. Was like, well, we don't want these kids taking money out of their 401ks and stuff. And the pushback was, your typical renter is worth about $10,000 in their net worth, and a homeowner is worth about 400, a little over 400,000 now. And again, great data from NAR and what's happening with that. But with that, it's like you're far better to take some of that money out and invest it in your home and to do that. So I think that's an important part of that brings it home to why that matters to us and our members.
And the last one I wanted to talk about was independent contractor status. There still exists, and it's still an item that has been discussed in the administration, is there's a conflict between the labor law and IRS tax law. So the independent contractor, fortunately, we still have it. We have, I think it's like 84% of all our members are considered independent contractors. So that's something that we're still continuing to keep on monitoring. And so that's pretty much on the list. There's a lot of legislative stuff that's going on, but these are key HR issues that we've got advocacy, and we're definitely pushing on right now. So that's it on the advocacy part, Gina, and we can, if there's anybody has a question on that or anything else, we can address that.
Yeah, there was just a comment in the chat from David Nash. Why not advocate for 1 million across the board, regardless of marriage status on primary homes? There's more single households than married households in the US now, considering death, divorce, aging, all that. Single by choice for the people who own a home was not important, their status, but the discount that everyone should enjoy. And so that was a good commentary. And we had a win with the SALT tax too. I don't know if you want to mention that.
From $10,000 to $40,000 on the SALT. So that was huge.
That's huge. Yeah.
That was a huge win for us.
David, regarding your comment, we've discussed that. I mean, if Lance is single and I'm married and we live next door to each other, neighbors, we're both going to sell our house, and the houses are the same value, why should he get penalized when we're selling the house for the same price? So we've had discussions on that, and we are working on that.
I've heard that as well too. I've heard feedback from members on that.
Yeah.
So it's like a single penalty.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So take back.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. So you're going to tell us a little bit about what's in store for research and technology, Otto?
Sure. You want to do well, let's go into research, then we'll go into technology. Okay. So NAR market statistics dashboard is a new member portal that we have right now. This is, are we going to go? Okay, we're going to do RPR first. We're going to do RPR first. Okay, so do RPR.
So we can share the screen for that.
Sure, and then I'll give it to you.
I can't see people's hands, or can I see their hands? How many people use RPR right now?
I don't think we can.
My hand's raised. Gina, you're a user, right?
Very senior.
I am a user from the very beginning when it first came out, and it's just an amazing tool we have access to for our membership.
Okay, great. So what we're doing in an example here is I'm going to get the keyboard here, and then I need the mouse too. So what we did, we were playing around with this earlier. I signed into my own account on RPR, and the big buzz now, everybody's talking about AI, and it takes me an hour just to write a thank you note, just to say thank you. I am not a real good writer, so AI has been a blessing for me when I do my listings on my for sales. I'll send them over to my business partner, and he'll go, "God, where'd you get all that?" And I said, "Well, it's AI. It makes me look good." But they really do a great job on it. So what NAR has done with RPR is created what they call a script writer, and I wanted to take you through it. Again, this RPR tool is a free member tool for you to utilize, and especially with the market the way it is right now, kind of slowing down, days on market are elongated. We need to be more social media present. So here's something. So we put in we used Lance's zip code 9640 here, okay? And so what we did is we put the zip code in, and it gives us all this information. How many months of inventory? 16, almost 16 months of inventory. His sold price to list price is 96%. And I want to clarify here, and I know Lance is going to tell me this. Can I reduce this?
Yep.
Yep.
There's a drop-down menu here. So you can pick anything you want here. If you want to do condos, if you have a buyer that's in the condo looking for condos, or you have somebody that's looking for a single family home. So we want to make sure when you're looking at these statistics here, that you're going ahead and itemizing. So we're going to do condos, right?
Mm-hmm.
We show the median property value, showing that month over month, last month changes is down about 6%. Now we're going to go up here to script writers. So say that Lance is working with, we're going to do a buyer, Lance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Buyer.
So we're going to do a buyer script. And you can, if you have a list of your client email, you could go ahead and put it in your email. If you want to do a Facebook, I'm a big face, I don't post a lot, but I watch everybody on Facebook, what they're doing. What do they call it?
Stalker?
A stalker. Yeah, I'm a stalker.
You're lurking.
Or market trends. Say that you're going to do a little blip or whatever on a specific area. You can go to markets, but let's do a social media post. So I'm going to highlight social media, and I'm going to generate an AI description of all the information that we just got done looking over there. And here's some examples of what the script would look like. So if Lance wanted to go to Facebook and post this, he would go, dreaming of a home in paradise. Kailua Kona is a buyer's market with nearly 16 months of inventory. Homes are selling for about 96% of their asking price and have a median sales price of $617. Let's talk about finding your perfect home. So these are different tools that you can use. You can use these on social media here. Start your life in Kona. And these numbers are really good numbers for you. Those of you that are newer in the industry, I can't emphasize enough on how much data is important for you. If you're representing sellers, you don't want to go back 3 weeks later and tell your seller you goofed on setting the price. So this is all valuable information for you here. And this is on RPR. So we do that.
You know what I like about that too is, like all you do is put in the zip code, right?
Mhm.
And so this is something I've been using for years as well, but I really like it. The script writer's new, but this data has been there for a while, and it's been a great tool to have. And like I say, you just change the zip code, or you can go by the county you're in, and it's really. And how much is it again?
It's free.
It's free.
It comes with our membership.
Yeah.
So, and this is a good tool here. You see this down arrow here? This tells you we're in a buyer's or Lance is in a buyer's market, in the condo market over in his area. So this is more of a balanced market over here, and dark blue is more of a seller's market.
Switch it to single family homes real quick.
Okay.
Show them how.
All right. So remember these numbers here, folks. Now we're going to go to single family homes. Wow.
What a flip, right?
Went from 16.
Different story. What a different story.
Yeah. So when you're out there and people are asking you, how's the market doing, Otto? Or Lance, how's the market doing? You got to be careful when you're giving numbers out that you're bifurcating and separating condos versus single family homes or multifamily homes, depending on what you do on the drop down menu down over here. Okay. Then you got lots and lands there too. You have a lot of land in Hawaii, farms and ranches, so you can go ahead and separate those out.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing on research and technology I wanted to do was this is facts.realtor, and NAR has done a remarkable job on this. It's got everything from the membership research, statistics, and these statistics are updated on a monthly basis, advocacy, education, But I want to go to, over the past year, we've had a lot of changes in our profession as far as with the commission settlement and consumer resources. These consumer guides and resources are just a valuable tool. Each one of these boxes contains a one-page PDF to help you sit down and explain what the details of the process are.
You know, what's really good about that is, you know, because we're dealing with brokers here. The good part about this is when their agents are having a hard time or struggling with explaining it to their clients, this is great for them to pull up and for them to understand and read through it and look through it. And you know, personally, when these started coming out at the, it's been about a year now, they started doing this, right?
Yeah.
There's one added every few weeks, so it just, the library gets bigger and bigger, but it's great to just send to a client.
Yeah,
You know,
and they're real simple. I mean,
They're
they're
simple.
plain, they're
It's like-
one page you walk through. So I'm gonna go ahead and do one. You'll get people that, you know, this was part of the settlement from the litigation is negotiating written buyer agreements. So if you go here to the right-hand side, you can either do a PDF or JPEG or either in English and Spanish. We do English. And this will go ahead and you can give this to your client, review it with your client, so that way you can walk them through what the process is and protect yourself also. So
and if you're able to explain those terms and understand that
be
good,
more professional.
yeah,
You're more professional. You set yourself a difference apart from your competing
Yeah.
on a listing, or if you're working with buyers. Yeah. So that's facts.realtor, FACTS.realtor. And then we have another one here.
I know, I was getting hung up on this.
I go to broker.realtor. There we go.
That's an amazing site for brokers. So brokers take advantage of this site.
This is another one site for brokers that again, this is all included in our membership and very, very fluid information. There's a lot of different workshops that you can go to, broker involvement, broker events, legal resources, especially now with what's going on, how to articulate your value. I mean, we're constantly asked, why do you guys make what you make, you know, as an agent, you know, and we need to show what the value is. We have everything from I'm a one-man office or one-person office to somebody with Lance. How many agents do you have, Lance?
50.
You got 50 all the way up to some brokerages that have 1,200 or 2,300 agents. So these are really valuable tools for brokers also. And this is brokers.realtor. Okay. So I think that's it on the research and on the technology stuff.
So I wanted to mention on the broker .realtor, please attend the broker power hours. That's a chance for brokers out there to get live, you know, national feedback and instruction and hear what's going on in the industry. And we at HAR, we do send out notices. So if you ever see anything broker power hour, there was a tab on that site for that. Please consider attending that. Your broker engagement committee, which I'm on, does work very hard to present good information to you for that.
Great,
Thanks.
thanks for adding that on, Gina. So, you know, regarding RPR has more than 160 million homes and commercial properties across the United States. It's one of the largest databases that exist in the world, and it's a program for us that we could utilize.
But yeah, I want to add one more thing. We won't get into it up there, but one of the things when you're doing your CMAs and stuff like that, it's incredible because you can go in there and you can actually change, like you guys know, I mean, the view's different here or this is different here. You might be in a cookie cutter subdivision, but everything on the Mackay side of the street has a killer view, and it's not gonna be the same as the Malka side. So you can jump in there and you can adjust those things. And when you're doing upgrades and if it has a pool or if it just had a new kitchen done, you can click on that, and if your client tells you, I put $100,000 in that pool, well, you got a deal. But and then jump in the kitchen. A lot of people, when it does the curve of what the value is now, like say that kitchen's 5 years old, it will adjust that curve. And I immediately thought, well, yeah, that doesn't raise my hand. That doesn't work in Hawaii because we're so much more. And it's like, it does. They took the time to research it in different market areas. So when you use those tools on there, and again, free tools to go in and do this, it's amazing because it will adjust all of that for you.
Yeah. One thing that I strongly advocate, and I don't care how long you've been in the business, if you've been in the business for 6 months or you've been in the business for 6 years or 20 years. I've been doing this for a few years, and I still constantly trying to learn and to better myself. And be honest with you, I want to be, I want the listing. I want to be
Yeah.
number one. And how I be number one is by going to the website, going to NAR. The education component, we have a new senior staff, Elizabeth Reno, that we just brought on, Senior Vice President of Education and Events. And she's transforming the content and the delivery of the education programming. So it helps better serve our members and get them to the next deal faster. And that's, we're 1 million deals off from where we were before.
Mhm.
We did over 5 million, and now we're for something, and I think we're at 3.8 right now. So on an annualized basis. So we're off about 1 million deals. So take a look, go spend an hour a week. That's all you got to do. There's no test. You can't be right. You can't be wrong on this. Go spend an hour, just go through these websites, hit the different links, and educate yourself better. Be a step ahead of your competitor on this. And don't be afraid to share this stuff also. Share it with your colleagues in your office too.
One of my favorite comments at all these meetings we attend and stuff was Lee Brown saying cocktail talk, And so it's by having this information, you may think you're never going to use it, and all of a sudden you're at a baseball game, and one of the kids' parents asks you, says, "So you're a realtor, how's the condo market doing here?" You just looked it up this week sometime, right? You know it. You thought you'd never use that conversation, and you use it and you become the expert, because we are the subject matter experts. And we need to utilize that. We need to set ourselves apart from a real estate agent to what a realtor is. And
Exactly.
we have these free tools, and not enough people are using them. You guys are not using the tools, and so it's cool. We hope that people start utilizing all these tools.
One thing I wanted to add too is with the new paradigm shift at NAR at the national level, strategic planning is something that didn't exist prior. The strategic plan that is being worked on right now, that'll be visible in 26, 27, and 28. NAR felt that a 1-2 year plan was too short, and 5 years was too long, especially with the dynamics changing in our industry. So we've gone with the 3-year strategic plan, focusing on the members, focusing with the brokers, focusing with the consumer, and action orientated, and really being accountable. So NAR has looked at what their core values are: accountability, data information, being adaptive, and trustworthy. And I know over the past couple of years, there's been some lack of distrust with NAR, and granted, for whatever has happened. This is in the past. We are on a new train, and I'm excited, and I can reassure you. And I've had some good conversations with Lance over the past year and a half about that.
Even, we go back, we were talking earlier about how long we've known each other. I started getting involved at NAR level in 2017. You're there longer than me than that, but we probably met about 5 years ago, I think, in leadership.
I think
right?
before COVID.
Yeah. So it's been amazing, the sounding board, that because we don't drink the Kool-Aid, it's kind of like I've had the conversations with Otto about, I just don't know if I trust this, where this is headed and what it's going. And he has a direct access to some of these guys on the executive team, and we have had these conversations, and he's been able to question some of the things I've asked, and come back to me and bring me. I'm not always happy with the answer, but it's a good answer, and it's going in the right direction, and I think I feel the same way because I've been going now for the 8 years, 9 years, and it's been I see the transformation in the last 2 years. It's huge. It's a big difference.
And I think there's going to be even more coming on the horizon, and they're going to be doing it out in buckets, and I'm excited about it. I really am. I think it's going to be a great win for everybody. And again, I mean, we have people from the outside that want to create the chatter to get us, uneasy and arguing with each other. And we just need to work together and stay focused. And
So Otto, many brokers, closely followed the recent settlement, but can you share any updates and what brokers should be aware of moving forward? Any legal victories recently by NAR?
well, we've had, in the past 2 weeks, we've had 3 lawsuits dropped with prejudice because we had one that was homey and there was a couple of other ones that NAR was, we had everybody coming after NAR. After the big lawsuit, everybody was coming in. So we've had 3 of them that were dismissed. And I think NAR is being very proactive, taking a look at the whole entity of NAR and what potential litigation could exist out in the future on the horizon. So they've again, like I said, they've upped their game. They've
This legal team,
well, the new legal
GRI
team is second to none. So I feel real good about that. The brokers, especially the bigger brokers out there, NAR is listening. NAR is listening, and we've hired Sherry Chris, who has been working with the brokers throughout the United States. Jared Grosso, who was the association CEO executive for New Jersey, has been hired on by NAR also. So NAR is they're walking the talk. They're putting their mouth. They're making things happen. So again, it's rebuilding that trust back with NAR, and not just saying we are doing this, but actually we want to see actions, actionable things. And I think with the strategic plan coming in, and with the realignment of senior staff, and with the leadership team that we have in place right now, Kevin Sears has done a remarkable job. I mean, how would you like to be a president to walk into this and not serve 1 year, but serve 2 years as
First person
president?
100-year history, right? That's ever served more than 1 year.
2 years.
Yeah.
And
So
on a go forward basis, I reassure you, my good friend Kevin Brown, again, a colleague of mine from my local association, Kevin will be president next year. Kevin has testified in Congress before, and Kevin is very sharp on his feet. He knows what the hell he's talking about, and he's a commercial broker. He understands. He has also residential brokers that he owns, but him and his brother are in the apartment space, so they understand the whole thing with rent control and construction of apartments and fire insurance. Yesterday we spent a couple hours talking about the challenges that we're facing with insurance.
So can you go into that a little bit, Lance and Otto, about what NAR's priority for insurance is?
Yeah.
They did mention that at leadership meeting recently that is going to be a priority.
Yeah, well, flood insurance has always been kind of the number one thing with NAR because of Louisiana and down in the South and Florida. More recently, with the challenges, Lahaina, Gina, the fire that was there, the fires that we've had in Los Angeles, the fires that we've had in Northern California have been significant. There is a legislation by giving $10,000 grants out on the federal level that is being discussed right now to do some mitigation, some clearing around regarding the fires. Yesterday, we had talks. Lance, you might want to talk about what we talked about yesterday, and I'm going to bring with the suggestions that Lance, and again, having the insurance commissioner at the table here with your leadership team is unbelievable. I mean, I was just blown away to have that type of communication, because I am going to take the content of what we discussed yesterday and bring that up to NAR. Matter of fact, I've got an email into Kevin to talk to senior staff that oversees Fannie and Freddie.
And it's, having a seat at the table again, that's been one of the most important thing is to be there, to be part of that, and to be able to sit here with Scott Psyche. So that was amazing, and to be with you guys and to have we're going to have this a West Coast president now. And with NAR, I mean, we just create this huge, with all of us sticking together, it just makes us really, really powerful with 1.5 million members. But it does help now that we've got somebody from the West Coast coming in when we're dealing with these new issues, both of us. So, two of the three of Region 13 will be able to have a seat at that table to help guide where we want this to go. And if we can change it, we don't even know if we can change anything, but until we sit down and have these conversations and meet with our legislators and meet with NAR and the higher ups and our advocacy team, because they're amazing.
And we've had those, I mean,
Yeah.
Lance and I have been having those conversations for the past year, and I wanted to make sure that the Hawaii members understand. I understand the insurance crisis you're having here because I'm personally experiencing it back in California with my own properties. Everything from spending $150,000 to put on a roof because the insurance company said it needs to be replaced, to replacing all my electrical panels, to replacing galvanized pipe to copper, to if your property's in a trust, the policy needs to be in a trust, to the point where they canceled me a couple of weeks ago saying, now we want to take a look and see what your assets are on your trust.
Yeah. It's just,
I can't use the words on video, but I was not real happy with my broker when I called to find out what do they care is in my personal trust. The only people that should be involved are my trust or my family, not insurance companies. So
yes, they're getting quite aggressive. They're using drones and they're going over houses in drones, and they see something, they call it out. It's pretty aggressive these days out there with the insurance. We have just a little bit of time left. Can you believe how fast this went? Still so much to cover, but I wanted to get to a couple of the questions. There's been a question from an attendee. There's been a lot of talk about focusing on the big brokers. I think because they were, some of them left out of the settlement. But could you touch on how the NAR is going to ensure equal preference with small brokerages, independent brokerages, and the needs are different between those two, of course. And you did show the technology, the fax.broker and so forth, but at a national level, can you address that question?
Okay. Before I go there, I just want to ask privilege. Kevin Brown is putting together a national task force on insurance. So, and Kevin wants to be real specific as far as what players will be on this task force. So I have called a favor and said that I would like to see if it's Lance, but I want to see somebody from Hawaii that sits on this task force that way. Because my tenure as regional vice president ends in November. I want to make sure that this dialogue and the attention for Hawaii gets taken care of. So I am advocating that a representative from Hawaii be on this national task force.
Appreciate that. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So regarding when I say big brokers, I'm a little broker, and I can get as much information as I want depending on how much effort I put in. I think where some of the challenge comes in, Gina, is some of the larger brokers are maybe a little distraught with the way the settlement went. The ones that were above the $2 billion threshold that were not included in the settlement. So again, NAR has brought on Sherry Chris and Jared Grosso in trying to amend those relationships to reestablish trust. Instead of being told what to do, NAR is listening to the big brokers and saying, what can we do? What can we do to help you be successful in your business model? So
yeah, Sherry's doing a wonderful job. She's actually going nationwide as part of our Broker Engagement Council. She is reaching out to all the associations and compiling a list of the independent brokerages out there so that we can have reach to not just the big brokerages.
Yeah.
Can I add something in there too, really quick, because I had a little concern over that question, myself at one time. And it was one of the calls I'd made to Otto, it's like, hey, when these changes were happening with, clear cooperation and stuff like that, I'm like, who are they listening to? Who's putting noise in their ears? And I talked to Otto and we looked at who the leadership team was. And we actually went to see if they were with large brokerages or smaller brokerages. So where it may appear because there's more noise being made about the large
Yeah,
brokerages,
that's a good
it's
point.
very much the small brokerages still almost, I think it's pretty much at the level of what the membership is. So it's very easy to get confused because I did too, and I went straight to Otto, and I went straight to doing my own research on it too. So you can do your own research as well. But if you look at the leadership team, you look at their names, you look at who they work for, we are getting a very fair amount of feedback to the leadership team and to Nakia Wright on from the smaller brokerages. So
There was polling from, I want to say 74,000 members that were from small brokers, medium, large brokers, all to gathering data and everything from the determination on the clear cooperation policy that was just discussed not too long ago. So, and the delayed listings and things of that nature. So it wasn't 5 people that made the decision. It was data from 74,000 members. Again, large brokers, small, medium brokers, individual guys like me that just, I'm a one person brokerage. So there was a lot of input.
Yeah, a lot of input. There might be an appearance right now that they're listening more to large. They just weren't listening enough to large brokerages before. So that they're still listening to small brokerages.
We're all equal.
Yeah.
NAR loves us. NAR loves us all. I love you all. Okay.
Okay. So I have another question from member Mike Drutar. I won't read all of the background, but the gist of the question is, what is NAR doing to help renters become owners? Because we have a lot of corporate buying out there, and
I think what you need to do is, one thing right here is by doing legislation as far as the 401k, trying to get these, I don't want to say younger buyers, but buyers into their homes by tapping into their 401ks. My son's an attorney, him and his fiance are attorneys, and they've got a pretty good nest egg on their 401k. I want to help them out, but if they can tap into that without any penalties, and there needs to be guardrails on it too. You can't go and pull money out and go buy new cars and
lift a Toyota truck here in Hawaii.
Yeah.
It's
But
so advocacy could be a way that
we are putting
NAR could start.
Generational wealth is something when we meet, it's one of our talking points when we meet with our federal legislators, even on a state level. We talk to them about generational wealth, about helping getting the next generation of home buyers into homes. And there's nothing wrong with renters, but generational wealth is created by ownership, not by renting.
And just to add on to that, with the median home buyer right now is what, 38 years old, 36, 38, something like that. So they're not kids anymore. They're adults that have a 401k. They have a thing that's probably been going for 10, 15 years now. So by allowing them to dip into that wealth, we try, some people still are confused. Your first time home buyer is 21 or 23 or 5 or something years old, and that's not happening. They're well into their 30s and they have that nest egg for retirement that will turn them into just a $10,000 wealth into a $400,000 wealth. So it is smart in most cases for them to take that money and get out of renting and get into buying. So.
And then the last question we have in the chat. So if you do have a question, we have 5 minutes remaining, audience. Please put your question in the chat. But the last one we have right now is anyone in NAR advocating for allowing Freddie and Fannie loans to be assumable?
Yeah, David, you're more than happy to send me an email and give me a call, but there's a lot of talk right now with Fannie and Freddie being privatized and creating a different entity. So I know the current administration, President Trump is there, and Bill Pulte, the head of HFFA, are trying to are really taking a look at privatizing and bringing Fannie and Freddie out of conservatorship. So I don't know how that's all going to look. I don't think anybody knows how it's going to look, but we are at the table with Fannie and Freddie. We want to make sure that we're there and they're getting our input. We want to make sure that we have a government backdrop on that to make sure that there is some form of a guarantee on it. So, David, if you want to, take my email down, Catrina@gmail. I'd be more than happy to stay in communication with you and update you what I hear on that. Okay.
Patty, could you put that in the chat for everyone, please? Otto's information. And so just a couple minutes remaining. So very quickly, I know Lance just represented us at Inman. Do you have any takeaways from Inman to share or other things you want to share with our membership, Lance?
The big thing, of course, 3 days of Inman was just AI, 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 AI. We all know we need AI and we all know how important it is, but it was good to see the people, they're starting to head down a path. I mean, I saw something today that 95% of all these AI startups are failing, right? That's huge. So it's like there's so much noise around us right now with AI. But a couple of the two tools that really took me away that I thought was pretty cool. And I didn't even see a pitch for this one, but it's called Fixer, and it's spelled Fyxer. And as you set that up and get it into your email, it's learning from you and it's your teammate. That's the big thing is what they were saying of this thing. It's not going to replace us. It's not going to get rid of people. It's going to be your teammate. And it's a new part of your team. You've got your escrow team, you've got your title, you've got your lender team, you got all your team members and in your office. And these are going to be your new team members. And that's how you need to go and look at it. So don't be afraid of it and use it. But this Fixer is reading your emails as they come in overnight or while you're out showing properties. And it's learning from you and it's drafting a response already. So when you get home from showing all day or you get home to something, you've got everything drafted and ready to go. It doesn't send it for you. You have to go through and proofread it and do make sure that everything's like you want to do, but it learns from you. And I thought that was interesting. And that wasn't even pitched. A few people just on stage talking about different AI programs were questioned on that. I thought that was amazing. And I think the next one that I was sitting there eating my lunch and some guy walks up to me and he starts talking to me about auto reel. And I'm like, I've heard enough about AI. I just want to sit here and have my lunch. And and so he said, look, just give me an MLS number of one of your listings. I'm like, okay, I give it to him, go back to eat. He came back 10 minutes later and it came up with this reel. So it's called autoreelapp.com. It's not even an app. I don't know what's called autoreal.com or autoreelapp.com. But it takes it and it was amazing. I know we've got videos out there that will they'll take a picture and they'll pan across it and make it look like you're moving, and it does all that. But what was really cool in some of the photos I had on there, like it had a Hawaiian flag on one of the on the lanai of the home. All of a sudden in this video it's created though the flag is waving in the wind. And another one was it did a car driving up the street when I did a pan to a street to show the ocean view and the ocean. So we had some aerials of a oceanfront condo complex and it made the waves move in there. So and it was cool. I texted that guy this morning. I said, hey, you know what? I was really impressed with what you did. I said, can I give a discount to the people that are watching this today? And he says, yeah, give me, what do you want to call them? I said, HAR 2025. And they'll give you 30% off the first 3 months.
Okay, so that's in the chat for everyone. That's your gift for today from President Lance Owens at the website, and the code is in the chat for you.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
So no matter what package you get, I love it. It's a fun little app. So
Well, I can't thank you both enough for being here and taking these questions and just giving us some updates. And we are at time. I don't know if you have any quick parting words for our guests, but thank you so much.
Quick one was also at the Inman event was Brian Buffini, whether you love him or hate him. He's amazing. And he got up there and he spoke about AI. He was saying silly and he says, you know what? He goes, over 80% of everything is still done by relationships. He said, so don't think it's going to be a teammate. He agreed with the people that said it's going to be a teammate. Use it. He's got teammate resources for people that buy into that program. But just to hear somebody that's been successful for so many years talk about that, it's still about your personal relationships.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
my.
And in conclusion, I just want to say if there's anything that I can do to help the Hawaii Association, please reach out, get a hold of Lance. You can call me direct or send me an email. I'll be more than happy to. I just want to let you know, though, that Hawaii is top of mind. It is not an island that is way out here. It's special to me. I love visiting the island when I come out with my wife and my family. Gene, I'll be seeing you. Hopefully, I'll be out in December to visit Maui. But anything that we can do, and this insurance crisis we're working on, any solutions, recommendations, anything we can collaborate, please reach out and let me know, and I'll make sure it gets to the top at NAR. And I just want to say again, mahalo. Thank you for your time today, and you guys are in great shape with Gina coming in next year, with Lance wrapping up this year. You've got a great staff at the Hawaii Association of Realtors. Nancy's doing a phenomenal job, and I
The
could go
staff
on and
there,
on
yeah.
and praise you guys, but you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you. I don't appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you both. Everyone have a blessed day. Aloha.
Aloha.
Thank you.